Like not. Oh my God, Meech, the shirt looks amazing.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sister Circle. We are back, and when I tell you tonight is should be live, and so we are super excited about our special guest. I'm Kelly, Amitri, and Terrell. The same crew is always here, but we have a special guest. So if you are out there, and they said during the quarantine, during the pandemic, people have been picking up side hustles big time. So if you've been thinking about it, and haven't just stepped out there, tonight's the night to get your questions answered, to ignite that passion, ignite that fire, go out there and just do it. And so I'm going to throw it to Amitri to introduce our special guest. And then don't forget that we are taking questions, comments, anything like that. And all of that you need to, for us to read them in real time, if you would add your questions and comments on the Victory Facebook page or the Victory YouTube page. So if you put your comments there, then we can see them in real time and make sure that our special guest answers those. Amitria.
Hey, y'all, what's up? We missed y'all. We've been off a week. So we excited to see y'all. So I just want y'all to know that this chick right here, oh my God, love her. She has been like the big sister of all big sisters in my life. We went to high school together. And I mean, just from that point on, we've been rocking ever since. So she is amazing. She has her own business. She is a girl boss. I would say the girl bosses of girl bosses. She has multiple streams of entrepreneurship going on. So I just want you guys to give it up for the Crystal Marie. What? Welcome, Chris.
Wait a minute. Oh my God, thank you for having me. Thank you for I'm a part of the Sister Circle now. Like,
that's right.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to be in the house. Thank you so much for inviting me, Meech. I just appreciate you thinking about me. So let's do it. Let's chat.
So really, right. So let's get into it. So Crystal, just give us a little bit of background of you and really what motivated you and inspired you to just step out there. So just give us your story.
And so honestly, guys, it's no like magical story. It was just like, it was always something pulling me, like working 9-to-5 jobs and things like that. It just never kind of fit for me. I just always felt out of place. So I started my business in 2008, and my business started off of a bet. Honestly, I used to help my girlfriend, one of my high school girlfriends, I used to help her plan fashion shows. She was a fashion designer. So I would help her plan her fashion shows. So one day, she had a big fashion show coming up, and I was like really in planning mode, getting sponsors, getting a venue book. Like, it was really nice. And she was just like, excuse me, she was just like, if this works out, you have to start a business. Like, she was just like, you have to start a business because you're so good at this. So I said, okay. Like, I didn't think too much of it. I was just doing it because I enjoyed it. So needless to say, the event went well. I had sponsors, the models. Like, it was a really big to do in one of her biggest and best shows. So because I promised her, I went and registered my business. And at that time, it was See My Style Event Planning. And then in 2016, I rebranded the whole business. And in 2016 is actually when I went full time. So 2008 until 2016, I was still working a 9-to-5. I used to work for the government, Food and Drug Administration. And in 2016, I just kind of took that leap of faith. I mean, literally walking into my job was like death. Like, I would cry in the bathroom to get myself together. Like, it was just really uncomfortable. And like, when God makes things uncomfortable for you, that means you're supposed to move. And mind you, I had been praying to eventually do full time for like 8 years. Like not 8 months, not 8 minutes. It took like 8 years, you know, for me to kind of just like step out. So finally I was at work, and guys, I don't advise anybody to do this, but this is just my story and my journey. Okay. I was one of my good friends at work. She was retiring. She was an older lady. She was retiring, and she asked me to do her retirement party. So I did it, and you know, all the coworkers and stuff were there, and they were just like, "This is amazing." You know, they were used to like the Costco cake and the plastic and all of that, and her party was nowhere near that. Okay, so you know, it was really nice, and just kind of the coworkers were like, "Why are you here? Like, is this what you do?" Like, and I always kept it quiet at work because you know you never want to talk about stuff like that. And coworkers find out, your boss find out, they find out you got a side gig, and it's just a mess. So I kind of kept it outside of work. So one day I just heard God honestly was like, "It's time." I literally got up. I never kept anything in my cube except for like my work. I didn't have pictures up. I didn't make my cube comfortable because I wanted it to always be like I could leave at any time. Like I didn't want to make it, I just want to make it pretty and I want to make it comfortable. I'm gonna put pictures of my family, and no, I didn't have any of that in there. And literally one time I was at work, I was finishing up some stuff, and God was like, "It's time." Like I heard him clear as day. He was like, "It's time." And I got my purse and I just walked out.
Wow.
Literally. And I don't advise people to do this. You give your 2 weeks like a good girl, okay? Or like I was like, okay, so, and I was just like, I gotta go. Like I was literally like, I have to go. And I could hear him say, "All right, this about to be on a whole nother level than what you have experienced. Like we about to grind, you about to cry, you about to work, you about to get paid, you about to struggle, it was, you know," and I was just like, "I'm here for it." I felt like I can go back to a 9 to 5 anytime. I have multiple degrees. But it was time for me to take a bet for myself. I never like should have any part of my life. Never. Wow. So if it didn't work out at my degrees, that was a fallback. So, so that's like, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't like I had all this money in the bank and I saved, and it, usually you hear like you should have this amount of money saved before you quit your job. You should, but okay, I still so so I'm here now. So yeah, so that was like the short version.
So I like that because, and I just want to kind of tie in on that question or on your journey. So, and you said you wouldn't necessarily recommend, but some people are afraid, and I'm gonna give you an opportunity to talk about fear doesn't go in my outfit, but some people are afraid to. When is the right time to leave what's comfortable? So you've been doing this on the side for a little bit, or for some of us, should I just quit my job and start tomorrow, doing what my passion is, or should I just stay with my job and do it as a side hustle first, and then when that grows, then step out?
So I don't like to say like it was a side hustle. Like I literally had 2 full-time jobs. Like I would work my, I got in the habit of building it as a business, not a hobby, not a, it turned from a side hustle into a full-blown full-time business. So I would introduce myself, to people. They'll say, "What do you do?" And I spoke that. I manifested that. I put that out there. I would say, "I'm an event planner. I'm an event / wedding planner." I was still at my job, but I positioned myself. I talked it out so it was comfortable for me to be comfortable saying that it was a full-time job. So I would work my 9 to 5 from 7 to 3. I will come home, take a couple of minutes break, and I will work my other job from like 5 to 1 in the morning. I will go to sleep, get back up, and do 2 full-time jobs. You know what I mean? On my lunch break, I would be doing, at the time, See My Style, so customer events, I would be doing, stuff on my lunch break. So it was literally like 2 full-time jobs, but it's never going to be the right time. You're never going to have enough money. You're never going to, and I can't say that because everybody's situation is different, right? It might have been more comfortable for me because I didn't have mouths to feed. I didn't have kids. So I was like, listen, I can struggle with myself. I can eat noodles and noodles for a minute. But if I had kids, I'm like, you can't eat that. Like, you know what I mean? So everybody's situation is different, but it's never going to be comfortable. And for me, if I feel comfortable and stagnant and I'm like, oh, this is cool, and it gets boring, that means I have to change. That means I need something else to do. So, and fear, a lot of time why people don't move because they're scared. And I'm like, I really went through it in my head. Scared of what? Scared of people talking? I'm like, who? Because they're miserable at their jobs. So what are they going to tell me? Let's be honest. Can we be real? Because this is Sister Circle. So we about to be real.
You got it.
That's it.
Who am I trying to impress?
Right.
Okay, so it's like you're taking advice from people, one, who don't have a business, two, who are afraid to try new food. And you're asking them about your business for why and for who.
That was good.
That's good.
So it's like we need to kind of stop getting validation from other people because and sometimes the hardest people are your family because they're trying to protect you, in a way. Some people are trying to protect you. So they're like, oh, no, don't do that. You might fail. And it's like, but if you do fail, that means you're learning. And I want to learn.
Right.
I want to learn because then I know what not to do. So I can try again. Failing is not the end all be all. It's just a lesson that tells you, okay, don't do it this way, do it that way. And then you try again or move on. But again, I had, my education and my background. I was just like, I can go back to a job. But right now, let me take some time for me. Because I know when I'm 80 on my deathbed, knock on wood, if I make it that long, that I'm going to be like, I always wanted to start a business. What if I tried? Or what if I could have did, what if I could have been successful?
Right.
But you're at a job that you don't enjoy. It's a difference if I enjoy my job. I'm always encouraging people, like me, she loves like where she works at. She loves because she's doing her gift. She's in the midst of her gift. I wasn't doing my gift. So that wasn't for me. But Meech is in her gift. So I'm like, girl, stay here, do your thing on the side. It plays into that. And what she's doing now is perfecting her business, her side hustle, her writing, the village guide. That's perfecting that. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I always say, everybody's situation is different. But stop, the first thing we do is go ask folks. Stop asking people who, do they have a business? Well, no, but it's my mom, but it's my best friend. Well, be hoping you fail because she don't want you to outgrow her because you might outgrow her. Okay. And then you're moving on to other people that you are supposed to be surrounded. We can't take everybody with us on our journey. We just can't. I lost a couple of people. And, people lost me, vice versa. So if I'm not supposed to be on your journey, it's going to be sad, but I understand. If I'm not supposed to be in your circle anymore, I have to go so you can make room for other people that need to pour into your gift, make you better.
Right.
So a lot of people can't handle that. They're like, well, that was my friend for 20 years. Okay. Now, what are y'all talking about now?
Right.
Love and hip hop? You know what I mean? That's not helping me.
I told y'all, if y'all wasn't ready for the realness, then
I'm
serious.
I don't think I gave a disclaimer.
Because it doesn't flow.
But I did.
I'm just glad it wasn't one of the shows I watch.
Listen, I ain't gonna give all you my shows because I still got some guilty pleasure, but that ain't one of them. You know what I mean? And no shade, but I'm just saying the conversations that I want to have with my friends, it doesn't consist of that. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, we're talking about, and we don't have to talk about business all the time, but when I talk to Meech or whatever, she's pouring into me without even knowing it. So I'm always learning, you know, something, or the conversation is beneficial, or we could just still be kicking it, but it's still a meaningful conversation. At almost 40, that's what I want to do. I want to have meaningful conversations. I don't want to have 20-year-old, 10-year-old conversations that I was having back in the day. I don't want to.
Indeed. Kelly, you got a question?
I did. And y'all know me. So y'all just, you know, jump in. But so what would you recommend to somebody who's discouraged? So, you know, maybe they were, you know, they started out and they were excited and it's just not taking off. Maybe they had some expectations that may be unrealistic or whatever. And it's just not taking off the way that they wanted it to take off. What, you know, what kind of words, or how would you just encourage somebody who's dealing, just feeling like, you know, maybe I need to go back to my 9 to 5 because that, you know, that's reliable money. And
listen, that's
you flipped my question. It's right here.
That's like the story of my life. Like, honestly, that's the story of entrepreneurship. Like, literally, it's like one day you like, oh my God, I love this. This is great. The next day you're dealing with maybe a disgruntled client and you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm bad at this. Why did I do this? I'm about to go apply somewhere. Like, you know, such is life. Like, it's always going to be ups and downs, but you have to kind of give yourself grace. You know, when I was starting out, I butt my head so many times because I was just trying to figure it out. I didn't really have a mentor at that time because no one would help me. They figured like, oh, you know, I would reach out to other planners and it was like, well, you're like competition. Why would I help you? And I'm like, well, you're in year 6. I'm in year 6 months. I'm not competition because you are light years ahead of me.
But the fact that you think that I am, but the fact that they think that you are right then and there says something.
Yeah, says it. So when I get to a level, I would never do that to novice planners that reach out to me ever. So anytime anybody reaches out to me, I at least respond to an email. I answer the phone, you know, we'll have coffee or, you know, or something like that. I at least speak to them, address, you know, talk to them and whatnot, because nobody helped me, you know. I figure all the things that I went through, I can keep them from going through that, from like, you know, not bumping their head for certain situations. Some things you just have to go through. That's just life. That's, you know, experience is the greatest teacher. So, you know, I welcome those hard times. I welcome those obstacles, even if I'm crying, even if I'm, Lord, I'm sorry, cussing. You know what I mean? It's just things that I have to go through. That's right. So to make me better. So I encourage people to, you know, when it's hard, when it's tough, like, welcome that, because that's your experience. You know, and I know it's easier said than done, but I mean, last week, you know, I had an event and I'm just like, oh my God, you know, this is going to be crazy. What, you know, and then it was great. You know, it turned out great. You know, the clients were happy. You know, I was competing with the weather, you know, but that's God. I'm like, I can't compete with God. So why would I get mad if it rains? But I have a tent. You know, I have a tent. And with the epidemic, you know, I mean, with the pandemic, it's like, you know, I'm literally planning my events day to day because things are changing. But you know what? It's been such a blessing in this time because I was forced to tap into my creativity again. I was forced to do things, you know, so now I'm really pushing virtual events. I've done, you know, a lot more of, memorials, even though we're talking about death, but it's a celebration of people no longer suffering and new life being born. So people trusting me with those intimate, private, events, that's a blessing for my business, because they're like, she can handle that, which I have been. So, I've written an ebook, for my clients. I've done some different things. I've been streaming events. Last year, I wasn't doing that.
Right. You're answering all the questions I've written down. Literally, you're already answering them, because one was how do you generate new ideas, and what are all of your, not to get too much in your business, but your streams of, I guess, income, or the other businesses that you have that people may not be aware about.
Yeah, so Crystal Marie Events is my bread and butter. That's my event planning, wedding planning. And my signature events is Destination Wedding. So I'm a destination wedding planner. So Crystal Marie Events is the bread and butter. So from 2008 to present, that's what I've been doing. 2016, like I said, I went full time. In 2017, I journal a lot. I write things down. I don't sleep very well, so I'm a Virgo, so it's always things on my mind all the time. I'm thinking about 80 different things all the time. And fear doesn't go with my outfit was something that I couldn't get out of my head. And I didn't know why, but I wrote it down. And I just couldn't get it out. So when you have something like on your heart, on your spirit, and you can't shake it, 9 times out of 10, you should do something with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I contacted a trademark lawyer, and I was like, I think I need to trademark this. That was my first step. And then again, I'm like, how? Like, you know what I mean? Where am I going to get this money from? But again, I looked at it as an investment. I'm investing in myself, So I was like, I have to get this trademark. So the lawyer worked on this. And guys, trademarks take forever, 9 to 12 months. Mine took 1.5 years. It took forever. And again, I was like, God, why is everything so hard for me? Like, why can't stuff just work out? But it seems like I always have to do this jumping in the hoop, go around the mulberry bush, stop at the grocery store, talk to Sam. But I always got to go through all of this, stuff. So, but again, I just look at it as, because I'm supposed to help somebody else. It's not about me. I'm supposed to help somebody else. So I always have to say that in my mind for me not to get discouraged. That's one point. Keep that in your mind. You have to help somebody else. You're supposed to help somebody else. That's going to bring you down a little bit. So, and then all these ideas started. I was like, I want to create like this lifestyle brand. Fear doesn't go with my outfit. It's literally Crystal Marie. That is literally how I live my life. And I played off of it. First was fashion. I love clothes. I love just kind of
since high school. No, I mean all around. So when she mentioned this to me, I was just like, yo, this is so you. Like, how did this not come out a long time ago? Like, this was right. She has lived her, I would say, as long as I've known her, and it's been over 20 years. She has lived fearlessly. Like, there was nothing that this girl could not do in my eyes, which is why I thank God every day for, the people that he placed in my life, including, the other ladies that are here, Kelly Terrell, so it's amazing to see. And then, for those of you who out there who have friends who, who are having their own business, please support. And I know Crystal talked about, sometimes it's your family that will be your biggest critics, but that's all right. I implore you to just encourage and support your sister or your brother in whatever business ventures that they are, trying out, because it's important to have a support system. So I'm just
And I feel like sometimes,
yeah,
especially when it comes to like sisters, sometimes, and Crystal, you talked about this.
Yeah.
Sometimes, seeing somebody else, you're not being secure enough in the purpose and the plan God has for you.
Right.
So when you see the next person rise,
because I can't with it. Like that ain't my thing.
Right. And you can't see the next person rise because because you're so worried about what they have for you. And so one of the questions I wanted to ask for you, Crystal, is that sometimes people get discouraged because their passion, somebody else is already doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do you
that's the thing. And sometimes people aren't comfortable because they're struggling with their gift. Like they know they're supposed to be doing something else. So they're kind of scared. So it's fear watching you. It's hard watching somebody else just go for it because they're sitting back scared about what they're supposed to do. That's hard. So I tell people that could be family, friends, or otherwise. So I tell people, don't get discouraged. They just don't know any better. Like they want to be happy for you, but they can't because they're struggling with their own situation. So you can't take it personally. And sometimes people don't know,
So Crystal, I think what Kelly was also saying was that if someone else that's out there doing event planning, right, Kelly, then let me know if I'm wrong.
It's a pop-up planner on every corner. It's events. Listen, every corner. But guess what? It's enough money out here for everybody. And I'm going to say that again. It's enough money out here for everybody. So I don't have time to be hating on the other planner. For what? That's why you have to know who your client is. And that's a whole nother different topic. That's a whole nother different topic that I can talk about.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Y'all don't get me in trouble.
Let's talk about it. How do you go about, and I think, how do you go about identifying your niche or really putting your plan into action and identifying who your client is and kind of catering to that group?
Yeah, so it's funny because I just talked about this. I just taught this on another platform. And like I mentioned before, I write things down, I journal, and with that, you have to be very specific. You know how you're very specific when you're asking God about what you want, you have to be very specific about what your client, who you're trying to attract. So I literally created an avatar of who I wanted to work with. So that's down to what school, and I'll run through it. My client is 9 times out of 10, it's an African American. She went to a HBCU. More than likely, she's probably in a sorority. She did her advanced degree at a predominantly white institution. She makes between $100,000, $150,000 a year. She's either a manager in finance, she's a doctor, she's a lawyer, or she has some type of management position. She doesn't shop at Walmart, but she loves Target. She understands the importance of a coupon, but you might catch her with the Louis Vuitton purse or red bottoms or whatever. She saves for what she likes, but she understands that things cost. So she also loves music. That's her first love. She's into music. She loves hanging out with her girlfriends. Her circle is tight, so she doesn't have 30,000 friends, but the solid 10 she has, they rock with her. She's really close to her family. She loves the idea of having kids. Eventually, she wants to start her own business, so creating a side hustle because she doesn't want to work for the man. Guess what that avatar is? That's pretty much me.
I was just about to say
I wanted to attract people that were like me. So from my branding, from my website, from pictures and experiences that I post on social media, that's who I attract. So I literally created an avatar of who, so that helped me with my pricing. Mind you, I put the price of what they make. So when they go to my website and see my pricing, they're not going to be mad that my t-shirt is $22. Okay. They're not going to be mad that my full wedding planning package starts at $4,800. You get what I'm saying? So I am very clear about who my clientele is. So I'm not mad when people go, oh, I can't really afford you. Great. That's great. Because I don't want to waste your time and I don't want you to waste mine.
Yeah.
So again, I'm very detailed. I'm very clear about who I want to work with. So if I had, if I was just trying to help everybody, and that's when, first you start off, you trying to service everybody. And that's what I did. I was trying to service everybody, but that's not, you can't do that. You have to be very clear. You have to decide what your niche is going to be and perfect that. You don't want to be the jack of all trades and master of none. So again, I created this lifestyle brand, but it still falls into my lane of who I am. Fear doesn't go in my outfit. It's all Crystal Marie. So under that, I created, I have a website. I sell t-shirts and merch, home decor, everything under that brand. I created a podcast talking about fear, talking about people. Meecha's been on there. So talking about how, again, trying to help somebody else. How did they overcome their fear? So that's what the podcast is about, presenting a new fear, a different topic, the person talking about their fear and how they overcame it. Okay, so it's always a lesson and a learning with every podcast that I do. And then, kind of creating, I do styling, wardrobe styling as well. So again, that goes back to the fashion. So I've been doing that for years, just as long as I've been doing event planning, honestly. So I created these different streams of income, but I'm still in my lane. I'm not all over the place, trying to service everybody and do all these things. I've written books, so I've done a couple of things, but in that realm, I created streams of income. And sometimes us being, especially Black and African American women, we're scared to price ourselves at what we're worth. First of all, we're scared to charge, period. Because we think we have to give, but we always got to give back. Well, how you can give back is paying me my coin. Okay? That's how you can give back. And I don't feel no complaint about it. I don't go to your job and say, oh, can you give her a discount? So don't come to my job and ask me for one. Pay me my coin. And I don't feel any way of asking for it because I'm worth it. And we have to know what we are worth. But again, it took me years to get to the place I am. I didn't hop out of bed one day, year one, going, well, I'm worth it. I'm going to start charging, $4,800 or $2,500 or whatever. My very first wedding was $350.
Wow.
And it was somebody I went to high school with. And, I was just really trying to get out there, again, service to everybody. And it was great. She was a great client, but I didn't price, I didn't price correctly. Now, when I get a tip, my tips are $350.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, but now I know I deserve it. I know I'm worth it. And I don't need validation from anybody else to tell me that, because God has already told me I was worth it. Well, how? Because I'm still here, 2020.
Right.
And I'm still here. So obviously, he's like, keep going. He's keeping me afloat.
Yeah.
So, we have to be, it's no like magic trick. It's just, do you want it or not? That's really what it comes down to. And it's just, it's a journey. Like I have sticky notes of quotes and everything all around. I literally have to talk myself through everything every day. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say, oh, I'm just whatever. Sometimes I have those days where I'm like, you're worth it. I have quotes and things everywhere that this is my journal. Look what's on it. You're killing it. Like I need this reminder all the time. Like, I have every, quotes and everything in the book. Like you know, and I'll open my book and read and you know, from the top of when I wake up. Like I need that. I need that. But I'm validating myself. I'm pouring into myself. I'm not calling Meech like, girl, gas me up real quick. I don't gas yourself up. Like pat yourself on the back. Pat yourself on the back, because when no one's there to do it, you have to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
So when people give you, you know, give you compliments and things like that, you're humble. You know, you're humble about it, because you tell yourself that, and you know, they're like, oh my God, you do great events. And you know, in your head, you like, I do great events. How? Because I have the review. Because, you know, you've been telling yourself that. So, you know, but we're human. We want that validation from other people. That's just human nature. We love when people validate us, but sometimes it's going to be those times when you know, I have had situations where I'm like, oh my God, or bad situations where nobody's there to validate you. So how can I get up and still do my job the next day? I got to validate myself.
Right. So let me ask this: who are some of your mentors, or how would you encourage somebody to go about finding someone to be a mentor to them? Like what steps do you take?
So the biggest thing, honestly, that helped me, I know when you first start out business, like I didn't have a pot to, you know what, and throw it out the window. Like money is always a challenge, but the game changed for me in 2016. That's why I always feel like I've been in business for 12 years, but it just feels like since 2016, like it doesn't feel that long, you know. But the game changed for me was when I started investing in myself, when I started really pouring and spending money for my business. So that meant for me attending conferences, mingling and bonding and being in a room with people that I don't want to say that I wanted to be like, but that was at a level that I strived or aspired to be at. So, and the things like that sometimes cost. So the fact that I was like, all right, Crystal, you know, let's do this. That was a leap of faith again, putting, you know, thousands into conferences and, you know, flying out to places that, you know, that I had never been, or going by myself, you know, not feeling like, well, you know, my friends should go with me. I'm scared to talk. You know, I'm a very outgoing person, so I'm not scared to talk to people, but just really pouring into the business and investing in myself to get me to other places. And then this one other girl, her name's Melinda. She was really the only one who let me help her with her events. And she was the first one to tell me to start charging, like serious charging. She was like, all right. She was like, you're good. You're literally running my events yourself. You know, like she didn't even have to be there. She could be like, here, Crystal, this is my event. You want to take it? Blah, blah, blah. She was like, it's time to start charging. Yeah. This little, you know, nickel and diamond you doing, that's not gonna work if you're still trying to be here, because you would literally be out of business, you know. And that's what I tell people: write your expenses down, write everything that you have to pay for, daycare, groceries, food, self-care, you know, self-care appointments, if hair appointments, nail appointments and things, that's important to you, that's something that you work into your budget. Write all of that down, add that up. What do you know, what is your expenses every month? So my expenses was more than $350 a month, right?
Right.
So I had to raise my prices. Who was living off of that? That's not even toilet paper at this point, okay? They didn't hike up toilet paper.
That's essential at this point.
Yeah. Especially if you got kids, you can forget it, right? So, you know, and then when you think about things like that, you just be like, duh. But when you're starting off, you don't think about that. You're just like, well, I do it for the passion. I love it. Just because I love it doesn't mean that I'm not supposed to be getting paid for that. And I think some of us feel guilty about that for asking.
Well, I want to ask that, Crystal. Why do you think people feel guilty about that? Why do you think that we just feel like I probably should lowball it and not do
well, for women, we're used to pouring. Yeah, for women, we're used to pouring into people and not getting the same, same amount of poured in back, right? Because we're mothers, we're wives, we are caregivers. It's just in our spirit and in our nature to be everything to everybody. You know what I mean? So I think as women, sometimes we're like, oh, we'll just do that. I'll just do that for you. And sometimes we get nervous. We're not sure if, because it comes so naturally to us and it's God-given talents, that we should monetize off of that. Sometimes we're like, well, God, it's easy. God taught me how to write. He just pours into me. Okay. And you can charge for that as well.
And give him his 10%.
You should charge.
And give him his 10%.
Give him his 10% and then add tax on that. So God, here's your 10%, and here's my 60. Like whatever you got to do. But here's my 60, that's 70, and then the other one is for the kids or whatever. The other percentage gonna be for your kids or savings or however you want to do it. But we have to be. I think we just feel so guilty about charging, but you go and pay for everything else. You have to pay a copay for everything else. You have to. I charge for consultations for people to even talk to me. Why? Because I've spent money on this knowledge.
Yeah.
So I don't have time to talk to you for free. I'm running a business. So, and I work for myself. This is all that I have. So me shooting the crap with you for 3 hours on the phone when I could have been doing something else. So guess what? If it's a consultation, you're paying for that.
That's right.
And if you don't, if that's too much for you, guess what? You aren't my client.
And that's okay.
And that's
God
okay.
bless you. Have a good night. Like, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's like when we hear no, it's like the end of the world. And it's like, it's not.
No.
It's not. I can't do every event. I can't, I can't talk to everybody. I'm not. And I tell people I'm not for everybody. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's friends. That's business. That's otherwise. I'm not for everybody.
Very true.
So, some people are like, you too much. Like, my daily to-do list, do the most. You can put in the quote too. Do the most daily. So I'm not for everybody.
Yeah, I don't follow that. Do the most. Yeah, I already do it.
And
But do the most.
We just have to stop apologizing for who we are. Stop apologizing. Stop.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Crystal, do you ever have to turn down money?
Yeah. Yes, because all money is not good money. Yes.
Good question.
And I am thankful, and I'm not saying that I'm like a millionaire or whatever, but some money just not worth it. Yes, Jamelia, she said this is the boost I needed. Yes, honey. Okay. But some money isn't worth it. And I could very well need that money that month, but some money isn't worth it. Again, I run my business. The clients don't run my business. So if you about to be stressing me out for $10, I can't. And I won't. Because, my self-care, that's when you go into like, oh my God, you start hating your business. You start hating your job. I'm not doing that. Again, I'm not for everybody. I can't service everybody. So I'll refer you to another planner. I'll do, I spread the word. I have a planner posse that we talk and we're friends and we vent and all of that. And we, pass each other. I'm like, okay, I'm not the planner for, but I know a planner who would be great for you. So again, I've turned down money before, it's like, hey, I'm booked. I can't. And just like, they're interviewing me, I'm interviewing them. which is why I have the consultation, because I need to know if we gel well, you know. And again, you know, I might not be the planner for you. They might not be the client for me, vice versa. So, yeah, so it's, you know, money I've turned down, a lot of money, but I'm like, and I'm thankful for it, because it's times where I didn't turn money out and I'm like, oh my goodness. At the end of it, I'm like, they paid, but I'm at negative $5,000 because
oh no,
I'm questioning my whole life and situation right now. Like, I can't do it. Yeah. So what you are a business, your expenses are write-offs for your taxes. Yes. So my expenses, and guys, I function as a business. You know, I'm registered. If you are not registered, you are a hobby. Okay. Stop lying, telling people you are a business. Register your business. Okay, because you want to be one, you can go into legal, you know, this is real talk. I'm just like, you can fall into legal situations. What if you're using somebody else's name and their business is registered and yours isn't? You know, so register your business. I think it was like $25, $75, something like that. And the way we eat these days, again, that's groceries. You spend $25 every day.
What?
So, you know, again, investing in yourself. That's an investment in yourself. Register your business. You know, now we have like those apps and things like that. If you need help, you know, legal people use LegalZoom. And I'm saying these things if you're starting off and you really don't have the money for certain things. LegalZoom, but you can register your business, call that 1-800 number and be like, can you walk me through filling out this paperwork? That's what I did. Okay. So, and they walked me through it, you know, so you can do that. LegalZoom. If you're looking for like branding or just different things for your business, Fiverr, FIVERR.com. You'll find a whole bunch of things on there that people are helping with. So that's from like flyers to branding to logo. You know, if you're trying to create a logo for your business, you don't have thousands to, you know, to spend on a really good designer. You know, I think it's FIVVER.
Oh, ER.
FIVVER. Yeah. So, you know, look at that. It's kind of hit or miss, like, you know what I mean? Again, but that will help you. I've used them before. So yeah, the first thing is to, you know, is to register your business in your state. So you can start getting, you know, as well as the tax benefits. For me, I am business registration fees defer from state to state. Yep, $300. Yep. So again, but $300 compared to somebody suing you because you're using their name. You get what I'm saying? So again, it'll, you know, it'll be cheaper for you in the long run. So $300, again, save up for it, you know, but, you know, stop. Because if you're using somebody else's name, that's the issue. So that's the first thing I would say. Register your business, invest in those, use those apps. You know, use those apps. So like to track my mileage, I use Mile IQ. And it's a free version. You know, they have a free version. I use QuickBooks for my accounting system because I want to see, you know, as I advance, I want to see my profit and loss statements, you know, because sometimes we're out doing business. We don't know how much we made, how much we're, you know, that helps me with my pricing, with what am I spending on? What do I need to spend my money on? How much I'm spending for marketing and ads and websites. You know, if I see how much I'm spending, do I need to cancel something out? You know, can I save somewhere? So I use QuickBooks, but again, another free system you can use to log your receipts is Expensify.com, I believe. Or that, I mean, that's an app. I believe Expensify is an app. You can use that. And I want to give like nuggets. That's why I'm giving this information, because I don't want it to just be like I'm talking and it's like, okay, I still don't know what to do. I'm telling you.
What I just say? I said Crystal Marie is dropping so many nuggets right now. Oh my God. Get out my head. Oh my goodness.
That's why we friends. See? You see why we friends? Yes. So, and again, invest in those services. So I have, now I have an accountant, and I have a tax person to do, my taxes, to make sure that I am A-okay, because I don't want, I don't want no problems. So websites, as far as websites, I am not a website person. So like WordPress was like really hard for me. But if people know how to build websites, if you're that person who know how to do coding and build websites and things, WordPress.com. If you need like a template version, I built one of my websites on WordPress.
Wix.com.
Yeah, so
that's what I use.
Yeah, so I built one of my websites on WordPress using a template. And then my other two websites this is me, managing by myself now. Crystal Marie Events, I hired a designer. I hired a website designer for that, but now I'm able to manage the stuff myself. So I switched over to Squarespace.com, where I can literally, it's a template and I plug and play, plug in things. So, I can put pictures on there when I want to. I can add stuff, change stuff. I'm able to do that now, as before, me trying to pay somebody every time I needed one little thing changed, or, trying to keep like, hey, I need this done now. And they don't contact me till 2 weeks later. I'm like, I can't. Yeah. So Squarespace was a website that was user friendly for me. So that's something else that, you guys can do. If you have any ideas, buy the domain now. So for me, when I was looking for Crystal Marie Events, crystalmarie.com, somebody already had it. So I had to go thecrystalmarie, .com. Yeah. And I bought thecrystalmarie.co. And then I bought crystalmarie.co. So these things are like, $2, $9, whatever. But if you have an idea, go ahead and buy the domain, because you never know. A lot of people say, girl, I got like 20 domains. Like, go ahead and buy it. So I bought, thecrystalmarie.com. That's for the brand. Fear doesn't go in my outfit. So those are, just kind of some tips that, that I've used, podcasts, start looking at business podcasts and things to follow, or get, ideas. So, right. Like now it's like free knowledge everywhere now. Yeah. So everything you don't have to pay for, but when it's time to pay for it, guys, stop being cheap with your business. And then you expect other people to pay. You won't even pay for your own business. How other people can pay? So it's like you won't even put $2,000 in your business, but you charge them $2,000. That doesn't make sense. That's true. That's why I don't feel a way charging $4,800 or $5,000 or whatever, because I've put that in my business. Yeah, more than that in my business. I'm like, that was my copyright lawyer. That was my trademark lawyer. Yeah. So best believe I'm charging for my t-shirts, because I gotta get my money back. Is this making sense? Like, does this make sense?
Yeah. No, a lot of sense. Yeah. So Crystal, what, during this time of the pandemic, you talked a bit about, how you're, being able to do different things you haven't done before. One of the questions is, what continues to motivate you to keep going? And then, how do you keep, either rebranding yourself or coming up with different ideas to make sure that you continue to stay like current and that you won't ever go out of business? You know what I mean? Like what plans have you put in place, to make sure that you stay?
Listen, I don't know if I won't ever go out of bed. It might have, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Like, no choice though. When you choose to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's being myself, like literally being myself and not trying to imitate and be somebody else. And it's just for real, like really being myself, being true to who I am, being true to what I love, things that I love doing, who I love to be around. It's just really, being myself and just really staying passionate for what I want to do. And honestly, it's my clients, my clients as well. So just when I think like, oh, okay, is this time, somebody calls or a review comes in, or so again, we look for that validation a little bit, but my clients kind of keep me going because they're like, oh my God, this was amazing. Like every time, sometimes when my clients have their anniversaries, they tag me in the memories and be like, I'm still on cloud 9 from my wedding 6 years ago. Like, I love that. Or I just got a message today from a memorial I did last week, from one of the siblings, and they were just like, everybody's just talking about how beautiful the memorial was. Mind you, I was freaking out because I had 200 butterflies in my refrigerator I had to keep alive for hours. Okay. So, that stress of it all, and then the client going, oh my God, this was so great. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. So that keeps me, motivated. And just not being afraid to kind of change with the times. Again, during this time, I had to pivot. Mind you, I'm an event planner. In Michigan, they're saying 10 people in the inside space. Wow. So mind you, I thought that I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to be working. But I was so proud of myself because, again, I'm a Virgo. I worry a lot all the time. And I was just like, I had this like kind of ease and calm about it. Like, Crystal, don't freak out. Tap into your gifts. Tap into your gifts. What can you do? What are you doing? I had already had the t-shirts. So people were still buying. I'm like, okay, well, cool. Everybody ain't broke doing this, during this time. So people were still buying shirts. Friends were still supporting. People were still calling. People started calling for business and coaching. Yeah. So it's like people were calling for business and coaching sessions, virtual things. I was still like, hey, I can't go in my podcast studio, but I have Zoom, let me go ahead. I did a quarantine series from my couch for my podcast. So again, just really trying to stay relevant, stay out there and you have to go with the times. And like virtual wasn't a big deal for me because, again, I plan destination weddings. So half of my clients I don't see until the day of the wedding. How I communicate with them is through Zoom or, wherever, FaceTime or whatever we're using, Duo, whatever we're using. So it was just really, just continuing to be me and not like, oh God, well, let me look and see what another planner or what another, fashion stylist is doing, what another creator. Like, it's good to do that for inspiration.
Yeah.
But then we find ourselves 5 hours later, we still scrolling on Instagram.
Right.
And you could have been doing something else, but you're scrolling, comparing, oh my gosh, she's doing this and she's 10 years in the game, you 2 years, so why, that doesn't match. You have to have grace with yourself. But it's good to look for inspiration and things like that, but sometimes you have to put the phone down. And that's me. Sometimes I can't follow people. So I'm like, look, I love you, but unfollow. I can't follow you because I know I'm going to be on there like, ooh, like comparing and contrasting and like, oh my God, that's better. So I unfollow people.
That's good.
Or I don't follow. So like it doesn't come in my feed, But if I want to go and check, I'll go like, oh, let me see what event they've done. Excuse me. Let me go see what they've done. And I'll be like, oh my God, that's so pretty, blah, blah, blah. And then I go back to doing my business. I mind the business that pays me. That's it. That's it.
And I feel like that let's drop the mic right there. I mind the business that pays me.
That pays me.
Mic drop.
That's
so
it.
That's it. Crystal Marie has been amazing. I started out saying this was going to be dope. So check out thecrystalmarie.com. Cop the t-shirt. If you're looking for event planner, get with Crystal. And so I know I'm getting ready to get my shirt. So expect that order.
Get your shirt. I have Fear Doesn't Go With My Outfit. And then I just created Fear Doesn't Go With My Motherhood. Some of my bestest, closest friends are bomb moms. So I just wanted to celebrate them. My mother was a bomb mom. So I just wanted to kind of pour back into my friends. I'm not a mom, but, you know, I respect those who are. So I was like, you know, let's see how this go. And it's been really good. People are really like responded to it. Meech called me personally and was like, ma'am, really? This what we doing? This what you gonna do?
What?
So, and then she called me with that, like, and she was like one of the persons I had in mind for that brand. You know, Fear Doesn't Go in My Motherhood. She was one of the persons. So when she called me and received it well, that meant everything to me because I had her in mind. So when I created Fear Doesn't Go in My Outfit, that was me, but I had my tribe in mind. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, this is for us. I want to create something for us. Yeah. So, you know, they love it. And I'm like, all right, give me them $22.
We appreciate you. For those of you that maybe this is your first time, this is Victory Baptist Church of Dallas. We are committed to empowering the community, right? We do this, one, because we like to talk, but two, because we want to reach out and have others kind of hear some of these dope people that are out there, especially people of color that are out there doing the dang thing. And so join us on Wednesdays for Sister Circle, Monday for Brothers on the Block. Thank you, Crystal Marie. You are amazing.
So much.
Mornings, church service at 11 a.m. If you're looking for a church home, we always want to invite you to Victory. Crystal, you want to say something?
I love you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me to the Sister Circle. I know this is a sacred space. So the fact that you guys invited me into your vibe, I so appreciate it. And I just hope I was able to pour into people who are listening right now or watching the replay. I just hope something I said, that I wasn't just rambling, that something I said kind of touched you and inspired you. And you can reach out to me personally. Again, the website, thecrystalmarie.com, Crystal Marie Events, whatever thecrystalmarie.co. You know, I have 3 websites. So you have 3 ways to get in contact with me. My socials are the Crystal Marie Events, or the Crystal Marie brand. So you can reach out to me and I will very well respond. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Next week.